Talking with Matt Miller of ESPN, ESPN NFL draft analyst and insider. You have in your latest mock draft, Kelvin Banks going to the Packers, an offensive tackle from Texas. But a lot of fans here, and look, it's a position that just gets people excited. The Packers have not taken a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. That was Javon Walker out of Florida State. When you're coming up with your mock draft, do you count for team history, which especially that team history, that's a long time not to take a wide receiver in the first round. Does that kind of pop into your brain in some of your research when you're putting together these picks?
Team history, team philosophy does. Because rules like that are meant to be broken. So when fans say, our team has never taken this type of player in the first round, I can remember the Baltimore Ravens under Ozzie Newsome had never taken a LSU player in the first round. And then they did. So it's you have those rules, and we'll bring them up during the draft. But philosophy matters more. And I think for Green Bay, it's that philosophy of they've needed receivers in the first round and not done it. So that tells you that it feels like a hard and fast rule from Brian Gutekunst and his crew. And so when you get to Green Bay, you can look at the receivers on the board and wait till the second round anyway. Let's go in the trenches because that's where they tend to spend their picks in the first round.
Something that we've talked about a couple times on our show is obviously the draft is in Green Bay this year. Do you think there's any chance that the Green Bay Packers trade away their first round pick? Because I just think that, as a fan of the Packers, personally, I would be upset if they did, just because it's like you have a first round pick and it's in Green Bay, right? Like, it would be crazy to me if they did, but also if they ultimately got a better situation, better players, more bang for their buck, so be it. Do you think there's any chance that they do that?
I'm a big sports conspiracy theory person, like the frozen envelope for the Knicks, the Michael Jordan thing. I love this idea. And when the draft was in Kansas City, it's funny, this came up. The Chiefs kind of got stuck. I don't know if you guys remember that, but the board had been wiped out at their positions of need. And there is a conspiracy that they made the pick of been from Kansas State, Felix and Uzoma. They took him because they wanted to make a pick in the first round when the draft is in their city. I'm supporting that. I'm just saying, in a theory, it's one that I happen to enjoy a lot. So I'm with you. I think if you're the host city, you should have to make your pick in the first round. For Green Bay, it does make some sense to slide back a little bit. I would worry, though, so many playoff teams this year have similar needs. So you don't want to get behind Buffalo and Kansas City because they have a lot of the same needs that you have. We could even say Houston at 25 has the same needs that the Packers have. So that would be the only risk, is sliding back too far, and then your board gets wide a similar team need.
Matt, if you have 1 minute, if you could disconnect or reconnect, you've been cutting in and out the last two answers there. So if we could do that real quick, that'd be great. We're talking with Matt Miller of ESPN. We really appreciate his time, but we want to make sure we actually can hear his answers and everything. I absolutely love, I'm going to dive deeper into it, but his top 600 players is what I'm going to use as our new kind of Bible for prospecting the Packers, as Matt is back. So, Molly, you can go ahead and ask a question here. But, Matt, I was just saying I love the 600 prospect, manifesto you put out there, and I love the player comps as well. So I'm excited to dig into that because we do a segment here on the show, which is like prospecting the Packers, where we kind of dig into would you rather have this player or that player? And this is going to get a lot of. You're going to make us sound really smart as we kind of just ape what you wrote. So we appreciate that.
No, that's what it's there for, right? Is to be a black book to help everyone. Calling it a manifesto is a little tough, but I guess when you rank 600 players, it kind of speaks to a lot of time in your basement if you rank 600 players. So I get it.
Matt, I am curious, what does your draft week/weekend look like? I know that you're going to be up in Green Bay doing a show on ESPN, correct?
Yeah, so I will be on the main ESPN broadcast on Saturday, where we break down all the players in the manifesto, rounds 4, 5, 6, 7. But I'll also be up there all week doing shows like SportsCenter and NFL Live and things like that as we get ready for the draft.
Matt, I wanted to ask you about some current Badgers, but then also some players with Badger ties, as with the NIL and the transfer portal in the NFL. There's kind of former Badgers that are currently in college getting ready to go to the NFL. But between Hunter Wohler, Jack Nelson, Joe Huber, I would imagine I might have read them in order where they're going to go. But do you think all three get drafted, and who do you think might get drafted the highest?
I would say all three definitely get drafted. I would expect Jack Nelson, I think, has a shot at the third round because the tackle class is not great after the first round. There's a drop off. That could be really good news for him. I'm a Joe Huber fan. I think his versatility on the interior of the offensive line is going to be valuable. But I am a huge Hunter Wohler fan. Any safety who hits like that, I'm going to be a fan of you. I'm with you. He has a shot. I would think late third, early fourth round is where I would expect his name to be called. Selfishly, I hope he's drafted in the fourth round so I can talk about him when he gets picked.
Yeah.
But for his sake, I hope he's long gone before I get on the desk.
What about former Badgers, Chimere Dike, Graham Mertz? What do you think about them?
Dike had a great pre-draft process. The speed, the testing. And this wide receiver class is a little bit light. The way that and the pre-draft process that he had with the All-Star Game Combine, his stock is shot up. I think he has a shot to be fourth or fifth round. Graham Mertz is going to be a long shot. I know he was a Combine invite. The word I got was he was a Combine invite because of medicals. Teams really wanted the opportunity to evaluate, the injury history and see where he's at. But this is a light quarterback group. So if 12 or 13 quarterbacks get drafted, I think he's got a shot.
Following up on that, the Packers seem to be a team that love to either acquire a undrafted free agent or maybe even draft a quarterback. Is that something you could see on the table for the Packers somewhere? I know that they did it last year. They have Malik Willis. They have Jordan Love, obviously, but adding another quarterback seems like good business.
I'm still a believer in the Ron Wolf strategy of get one every year, whether that's in the sixth, seventh round or as a priority undrafted free agent, someone that you're making a concentrated effort to recruit them. You're probably calling them in the sixth round saying, if you don't get drafted, we would love to sign you. Here's 40 grand or whatever to get them in camp. So yes, I think, especially when you have the quarterback position solved, I think it's very important to be a quarterback factory, to continue to turn the wheel. You never know what's going to happen with your starters. And especially with a 17 game and ultimately an 18 game season coming, the number two quarterback in a lot of places, just like Malik Willis was last year, is going to become really valuable. So I would continue to invest, again, even if it's round 6 or round 7. I think you add one of those guys every year.
All right, last two questions for you. I have another one chiming in from the fans, and this has been a name that people are excited about. Tet McMillan, could he fall to number 23, or how much do you think the Packers would have to trade up to get him, the wide receiver, I believe, from Arizona?
He is from Arizona, wide receiver. I think he could fall to 23. I don't hear a consensus from teams on love for him. That said, it only takes one team, just like with Michael Penix Jr. last year. No one had him going 8 until the Falcons took him at 8. So with McMillan, he could go 6 to the Raiders, and you would understand it, right? You would say, okay, they don't have a receiver. They need one for Geno Smith. But it's also possible that he gets through the teens, and maybe someone like Matthew Golden from Texas jumps him, maybe Luther Burden from Missouri, Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State, to where he could actually somewhat realistically be there at 23.
Last one, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but through the NFC North, who do you think over the last, let's say, 3 years has had like the best draft, the ability to look back of the teams, the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings?
I still love what the Bears did last year. I know it didn't pan out, but Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze was such a special pairing. So I loved that, but again, the results weren't there. I think Detroit's done a really, really good job of not only drafting good players, but drafting for their scheme and being willing to go against the grain. When they took Jahmyr Gibbs, no one thought that was a good value, where they took him at 12 overall. It's proven to be really, really smart. Even when they took Penei Sewell, it's like, oh, we're going to draft this guy and make him play right tackle. This is such a waste. And now he's the best right tackle in football, and he's eventually going to move to the left side. So I think Detroit has done a fantastic job. And it obviously, the success they've had points to how well they've drafted.
Matt, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and thanks for hopping off and reconnecting with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, guys. Thanks for talking to me.
All right, that was Matt Miller of ESPN NFL Draft Analyst. You can see him on day 3 of the draft, filling in for Mel Kiper. At NFL Draft Scout is his Twitter handle. I've followed him for years. He's fantastic. Super treat to be able to talk with him, and I'll be digging into his manifesto a little bit later. We got to get back down to the Sylvie. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.